republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we just come before you in the name of Jesus, Lord. We thank you for this day. I ask God that this meeting goes smoothly, Lord, and the business we conduct before you is done in the way you want it done. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
Amen.
The agenda review. We're going to go through the approval of minutes from January 15th. We'll review the school financials. We need to go over the municipal budget for 2024. We need to discuss that, approve that tonight. If we have time, we'll do the year-to-date municipal review. Have a little discussion about the town meeting. Our next meeting is not March 18th, it's actually March 18th. Anybody has any other business? Anybody want to make any amendments or? All right, we'll jump into the approval of minutes. Everybody had a chance to review them? Entertain a motion.
Oh, I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay,
Is
so
that
it
what
was
we
the tax.
Okay. All right, so we have a first and a second. Is there discussion? No? Is there discussion?
No?
Yes. What?
You were not, you were not.
I think you just amended that Janelle came in late. At first she was
I
asked.
sent a couple of corrections for those things. That was one of the corrections I had. Because you have Christine as excused. She was not excused, she was
I
here.
made a correction on that. You know what it is? I have draft two.
When I printed off draft one.
Yeah, that's, so I did correct Christine.
Okay, and then Janelle actually did come in, but she was late.
Okay, I didn't have that.
Okay.
Crystal, I think, was late that day too. I was not here, but I
Yeah,
believe
she
Crystal was late.
Just a few minutes late.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, but that's okay. Is there anything else anybody saw?
There was something else I didn't send it to her, I don't remember what it was, so it's probably in there.
All those in favor of the minutes of January 15th, 2024 as amended?
Aye.
Huh? She sent them out, they were in an email.
Two.
All right, we can table it, we can certainly table it.
It's fine.
You sure? Yeah. Because it was just the full and then there was one other thing that Bonnie changed, but I'm fine with tabling. Yeah. All right, we're gonna approve them.
This is my last meeting, and will not be part of the budget.
From now on, I'll make the changes in red too. I think I might have done
Okay.
one. And so, I'm sorry, so who made the motion and seconded that?
I think Christine made the
Made
motion,
a motion, I second.
Thank you.
and I'm abstaining because I wasn't there.
All right, we're gonna go through the school financial report. That should be in your packet, and I also put, that as well. Those of you that weren't at the deliberative session and basically went without too much, no hitches, a little bit of
Little
discussion.
hitches, but nothing major. Much better
was
than
no
other
changes.
previous. Yeah, everything was fine.
All the warrants passed.
There was a little discussions, but it's fine. Discussions are always good. Yeah,
That's before.
right?
Very important.
Productive conversations.
Anybody have any questions on the financial report for 2024?
How are things coming, with the use of the asset rate?
Good. We're making progress. Scott was getting some numbers for, I think they were getting numbers for the generator and the storage shed was coming along, so we're getting there.
And that will take up the money, right?
No, we're kind of going in order. So they're doing the storage shed, and then I think we decided to do the generator, and then the outdoor classroom, and then the fields. So we want to do as much of all of that as we can. Yeah.
You have any questions? There's also the federal report in here. Do you have any questions on those? Any questions from the public on the school financials? I guess we will jump into the municipal. We need to go line by line, we need to put in what the budget committee recommends. We have to do this and do this tonight, because I need to get it over to the board of selectmen by Thursday, very latest, probably tomorrow. Not tonight.
Tomorrow would be good, so then we could get it in, and get it in tonight.
All right. So selectmen salary. Board of selectmen are recommending $12,665, which is the same as what was budgeted for last year. Comments? Everybody just jump in, what do you want to do?
It's fine. Last year.
Everybody good with keeping it the same? Admin assistant. BOS is recommending $52,420. That's an increase over last year. I believe that was a salary increase as well as the 3%.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to until her,
Sorry.
that's all right.
So she's
She's looking at me, that's
Is
why.
that longevity of 3% though?
Because they just started this year.
She'll get a 3% when she hits her year.
So in September?
Yeah. So, yeah, September.
And what is the rate of pay?
25 now as of last Monday.
So she just got a raise?
Yep.
So the 90-day raise?
An extended 90 days.
And we're gonna give her a 3% on top of that after
After
a
the
year.
Discussion, okay with the 52,420?
I don't necessarily agree with the 3% on top of the raise after the 90, but
Yeah,
that's,
but you won't get that till the year,
right.
so not until next fall.
I have a hard time swallowing that people just get raises. Well, you know, oh, you're gonna get a raise here, and then you're gonna get another. It's a hard pill for me to swallow that, the 3% top, especially where this is never, from my understanding, that's never happened before. That it's like you have to, typically they would
I'm
have
not
to
sure if
wait
it,
for.
did it happen with the officer that we hired just
So
recently?
I will just say, it's a cost of living raise, it's not a,
Right.
it's a COLA. It's not a,
I thought cost of living was the 2% of COLA. I thought COLA was 2%.
no, this year is 3%. We were matching.
I was gonna say though, without pointing, was it also the assessing clerk that was hired at that position?
Yes.
Okay, so it has been done before. I will say that she was hired on as $25 an hour, but to start at $24, and when we deemed that she was ready, she would receive that dollar. So that's how it was presented to her.
And that's how it's been in the past as far as getting the additional dollars and having to do the IMGs. And then if you were deemed eligible, you know, kind of from the board's standpoint, well, then, yeah.
I mean, I know at the hospital, if they've been there more than 6 months, then they're eligible for the cost of living raise after a year. So, I mean, I think the thing to keep in mind is in order to keep employees, you do have to kind of, otherwise they're shopping. I mean, that's the reality. People are always shopping for something better.
I don't know what hospital is that.
Portsmouth.
Okay, I was gonna say it's not Wentworth, because
Wentworth does they do a cost of living raise every year.
they've done market adjustments the past couple of years, but they.
I just got a
don't
cost
do-
of living raise. I just got a 3% cost of living raise.
Was
in
that after your
January.
review?
That's hospital.
Yeah, in January.
But that was your review.
I hear you, but I'm saying like every business out there is doing the same thing. So I think,
No, but I'm also looking at a lot of the people that live here and work here are in the private sector, and they don't just get the raises automatically in a lot of places. I mean, I know in the past, I don't just automatically get a 3%, it's all about performance, so it could be anywhere from 0 to 3.
Roxanne?
So our reasoning behind it was, so if somebody get hired in February, and so then they would have to actually wait 2 years before they got a raise. So we said, we as a board of selectmen said, if we implement as of the time of their hire date, we can figure out the numbers, it's easy, we can do the math over the side to say, okay, they're gonna get this amount until their anniversary, and then after that's when they get their, what we've given deemed as a cost of living, and then calculate that for the rest of the year. But we were doing it as, yes, as a way to potentially, to retain.
to retain your staff.
And
Okay, I understand that, but then I would then just recommend that like the person doesn't get something after 90 days.
But the
Because-
job was set at $25, but we said, based off of what you have for,
Experience.
qualifications, we're saying 25, 24, and then if we deem after 90 days get it. I mean, we weren't starting out from the gate to say, yeah, we're giving you 25 right away. We're basically saying, let's see what you got, and then if it's good, we're gonna give you, and then, which has nothing to do with the cost of living, because the job was $25 an hour. We just chose not to pay that out the door when if we hired. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
Does somebody want to make a recommendation for the budget committee line?
I mean, I get where Christine's coming from, and I do agree with that, but
I understand that you gotta retain staff, but I also understand but I also look at it of the fact of somebody who's working in the private sector along with many other people in this town that we aren't getting the raises and the benefits that municipal people do. So it's harder for us to keep up because we're having to pay their salaries in our household. So it's kind of just how I look at it. Call me crazy, but
Throw a figure out there, we'll vote on it.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I agree with you. I only got a 2% raise last year, but we just lost, how many secretaries in the last 5 years? I mean, yeah, it's a lot. I don't want to be paying a lot of money either.
And there's a cost to retrain people every time you have to retrain.
And I get that too, but I just feel like that it needs maybe a different approach, and I don't know.
Yes, can we move on and vote on this? Do you have a figure you want to throw out there? We can amend it, we can vote on it.
I would vote that they don't get the 3%. That's personally my opinion.
So what would that number be? For the year, without 3%, what number would you be voting on?
I don't,
I'm gonna tell you, well, you guys have, you know what her salary is? It's 25 times 52 times 40, or 25 times 40 times 52. That's
Our accountant knows
so
that.
50, so that would be 52,000 flat.
okay.
Is there a second for 52,000? Not hearing one. Motion failed. All in favor of the $52,420?
Hi.
Opposed?
Nay.
Robin, just for the record, I'm abstaining on this entire budget.
Okay, so we're going.
I won't be voting at all tonight.
420. Moving on to the admin clerk, it's now up to $24 at 24 hours a week. The select board of selectmen are recommending $22,000, 24 hours.
Okay.
Sorry, I meant to say.
I got,
Yeah.
I was like, oh. Well, I have
24 hours,
Okay,
because it
okay.
it was less.
So she gets $18 an hour.
So this represents the $18
This
an
is-
hour plus the 3%?
Correct.
Yes.
When it comes time for her review, her anniversary, yes.
All those in favor of the Board of Selectmen's figure, signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Opposed? All right, office telephone, 13,200.
You got to be here all night.
I know, let's, I don't want to rush, but we good with it.
Why is the department head higher?
If there was a 2% increase, that's all.
Everybody good with 13,200?
Mhm.
But we only spent 12,344, so why not the 12,500? I mean, it's only $700 difference, but
Are all the bills in for that? No, it says
it
like
will, so it
12.7.
looked like on all the general, on that, what we got today, everything bill-wise has been moved back to 2023. Payroll has not been moved back for 2023, except for the next shift pay is the only thing that's been moved back. All other numbers for payroll are year-to-date on this or not correct.
So is there a reason why we're doing the 13.2 instead of not closer to the actual?
I thought it was the contract.
Is
By
that
all
a
means.
contract?
Our telephone?
Consolidated.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure there's some differences in there, like if we have to have them come out and do some, there are certain things that we probably have to pay for out of that contract. So.
Somebody have a motion they want to make? Motion for 13.2. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the 13,200? Aye. Any abstain? Any noes? Postage. We're going down from 43 to 35.
You have office supplies?
Oh, office supplies, sorry. Is there a second? All those in favor of 3,500?
Aye.
Postage?
You can vote on your bottom line if you want.
Huh?
You can just change your numbers and vote at the end.
You know, that would be a
Just
lot.
save your time and Robin's hand. You don't have to vote on every line. You can vote on your bottom. You can say, like, you can discuss all your numbers and then say, do you want all the numbers there? That's what we've always done in the past.
Okay. Does that work for everybody?
Fine
So
with
I
me.
would, yeah, so like this, I recommend go through it, and is there any numbers that you guys want to pull out? Otherwise, if you're good with everything else, then you only discuss the ones that you think need to change.
All right, so we'll go down to the first section. BOS is recommending $151,335.44. Are there any lines up above that you want to discuss?
Maybe we haven't already.
You know what the mileage rate was used to, they say
It was
that-
67.
It was
Yeah.
67, okay. And for the mileage, is that, that's only for like the secretary and the administrative assistant? That doesn't cover like the town clerk or tax collector or anything? Or does it?
That would be,
I only asked because in '23, tax collector came out of the treasurer mileage, so I wasn't sure.
Second page, basically, is treasure mileage.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
But you're asking if the town clerk takes out of that, right?
Well, yeah, I didn't know if the executive encompassed the town clerk and her deputy, because they pulled out of the treasurer mileage last year, which I believe was over.
Oh, I would think that it would come out of executive. That would be my thoughts. I'll look into it though. I thought, yeah, something outstanding.
What are associated with those association dues? Is that just for,
Doesn't our, New Hampshire, yeah, and HMA comes out of there.
So do we need 2,000? What was the rationale for 2,000?
I don't remember.
and,
It would have been provided with a backup.
and there's nothing like outstanding? Everything's been, cross our fingers, hope. I mean, if,
It looked like the bills had been moved back into the 20,
so, okay, I didn't get it.
bill lines, the payroll, no.
Okay. Then I say I would like to cut that back. I mean, I would even say to cut it back 1,000 just to give you guys the buffer, but in case there was something outstanding, but if you didn't expend not even a quarter of it,
So were we good with cutting that back to 1,000?
Yeah.
Yes? Everybody's on board with that? So that will drop it to $150,335.44. Everybody good with that figure? What was that number again? $150,335.44.
Andrea?
Yes.
There are 4 different lines for mileages in our budget, just so you know.
Yeah, I think what Sierra was asking is, out of this particular section, whose mileage is coming out of that line?
Right.
It should be the selectman, the admin, assistant, the admin clerk. That should be it.
Yes, because the others are covered.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
No,
that's what your question is.
Oh, yeah, because, well, I was questioning that because tax collector doesn't technically, if we're going by the means of what these are named, it's the treasurer mileage, so that would mean that it's meant for the treasurer. But last year you had the town clerk, tax collector pull almost $200 for mileage reimbursement out of that, and our deputy over $150, I think, for mileage reimbursement out of the treasurer mileage. So I wasn't sure if the executive should encompass them as well, or if the mileage for the treasurer should encompass them.
Good question.
Or if they need their own line. I
Or
mean,
they need a
to do
line,
more
yeah.
accurate budgeting, you
Right.
probably should just have their own line.
So, do we have a motion for the 150,335.44? Motion. For a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? So we're good with that?
and that takes care of this whole section, including up top salaries. Yep.
Unless you, if I'm going too fast, or you guys want to backtrack, just let
No,
me know.
I'm good.
Stop me. Okay, so the next section,
So do we vote on, are we voting on that section?
Just it.
Oh.
all those in favor?
Well, I thought he interrupted.
Aye.
Nay,
Opposed?
nay, opposed? Or,
So we have.
well, you're
two nays.
abstained.
Opposed?
Are you
I'm
oppo- are
sorry,
you abstained or-
abstained? No, abstained.
Nay.
I'm not voting for you, telling you how to vote, but you said you were abstaining.
Yeah, 5-1. 5-4, 5-4, 1 against it, 1 don't care.
Switzerland.
All right, the next section is for town meeting, moderator, supervisors, ballot clerks, and so on. Looks like the board of selectmen are recommending $30,850. Is there a motion to accept that? For discussion? Motion to accept. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, like I mentioned to you earlier, I don't know if you or Roxanne know this. So if we put in for raises for like supervisors, moderator and stuff, is that retroactive back to the beginning of the year? So like we did the ballot, not the ballot, the primary voting. So the ones that worked that, would they get that extra pay back then or no?
Oh, the interviewer can submit it it's per day. It's not, that doesn't
Yeah,
make it based
right.
off of a
not
code.
salary.
It's basically, she puts in, you're gonna get $100, I don't know what the amount
Right.
is.
And I put
So you already got it,
I put it
so-
all
Okay, so there's
Okay.
no.
You already got it.
Yeah, no, I get it now, okay. Never mind.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the 30,850? Aye.
Aye.
All right, now on tax collector section. So the Board of Selectmen are recommending $55,112.36. Do I hear a motion? I'll say a second. Discussion?
I just have a question on the deputy tax collector. It doesn't show a raise, but if you're giving someone else a raise on the year, why not does it
No,
count?
it was based off of, it's because that,
She would have been there for a year.
yeah, she would have been August, so so it's based off of $16 an hour and until that time period, and then it was gonna be a raise of 3%. So that does that 14 and 315 doesn't include,
Okay.
the split, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the department head did for a raise, but the Board of Selectmen did.
Did, okay.
Recordings at registry, budgeted 400, we've only spent 80. Is that normal or
It's just an unknown.
it's an unknown?
I wouldn't say that it's for
Not 400 a year?
Maybe
Well,
got
this
that
is-
one too.
So my understanding is this is the contract that was entered into as
Oh,
far as
that's
per
right, we have a new
person.
contract.
It was a new company, and you're gonna pay by search.
No, that's not that one.
But
That's, this is the recordings at the registry, so
Okay.
for your
Oh.
current use recordings,
Oh.
lien recordings, it's what goes to the registry and gets put in a book and a page.
So then I don't know.
Is it a
if it's
cost?
department head.
Do they charge you per,
Per,
and how much is it?
per page. So, in New Durham, I probably get billed, your current use people pay for their own book and page. They have to pay $20 a page to have it recorded. So you're not getting charged for that, so you're basically doing your lien redemptions. Or maybe $5 a month, or depending on how many you have.
So it's, they charge, do you know how much they charge like per page? That's probably kind of tedious because I guess it depends on,
The lien redemption is just one page, and they do it,
Lot mergers, we learned it was like 1254 pages, they were charging down.
right, but that came out of the planning board.
Would you make a recommendation to change this number?
I would change it, I would say cut maybe an hour, maybe 250, just to be this, and then recheck next year with this page.
they didn't even use a quarter of it.
I mean, I think, I'm trying to remember what it is for like lien redemptions, and it really was.
No, you know what, you have to lean.
I was gonna say we didn't lean this year.
Right.
Okay, well then.
So then you'll have you're not actually,
No.
lien, so,
That was put out this fall at a public meeting.
so you're gonna have, I'm just trying to think. You have to record your actual meeting. I would was maybe just I would maybe just do 300 for now and then just maybe look at it again next year once all reading and dating is done. And if that's worth it.
Everybody in favor of dropping that to 300?
I would like, I'd drop it into 200, because they haven't even used $100 out of it.
But if the
But you gotta
reading and dating
understand that it
wasn't
didn't
done,
happen this year, the waiting and deeding didn't happen this year, so that money didn't get spent because it didn't happen. It should have happened and it didn't. So money really should have been spent out of this line. So this $80.60.
So did it not
is
happen
a true-
because there was no need, or was it an
Okay,
over?
so let's take a step back. We're talking
Okay.
about that job over there,
Yeah.
don't know, I have no control over.
No, I'm just wondering, like, if it didn't happen because there was no need for
And
it.
there was a need for
I
it.
believe there were 5 properties?
Yes.
Okay.
5 properties that should have
So,
been.
that it's not reflected in here because it didn't happen. So this $80.63 is not a true depiction of what would have been spent on a year had we need.
So what else would come out of that line, Janelle?
so it would be your deed recordings, if you were gonna deed properties, lien redemption recordings, and then your actual lien list when you do lien. Current use is paid by the customer or the owner of the property. And then maybe like the tax deeds, and when that deed or the tax deeds go and get recorded. Now, looking through it, it might,
Maybe the wrong this year?
yeah, we can maybe look at it next year, just in case.
Okay, so we're all good with leaving it at 400? The other one that increased was the treasurer. We're increasing that salary because we're hiring wrong person, I believe.
Yes, we are. We're trying to look for somebody. You interested?
And how much will that be paid per hour?
I was gonna say there's a, what?
It's-
There's a
it's
range
really
on
more of
it,
a
yeah.
stipend because it's based on how long it takes the person to, but we kind of average it on 8 hours a week at $18 an hour. So that's how that came out.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the $55,112.36 if there's no more discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay,
Okay.
nay.
1 nay, 1 abstention, the rest approved. All right, moving on to the assessor block. So the Board of Selectmen are recommending $23,104. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Discussion.
CAI isn't increasing at all for the child map updates.
I'm sorry, what?
Make sure you pray that tax map.
I don't know, I
CAI.
think you guys just approved the contract, right, for the tax map, but I don't remember.
Oh, for the software.
Any other discussion?
You already
None, I'll
voted, lady.
call for a vote. All those in favor of the $23,104? Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Moving on. Town attorney. Board of Selectmen's recommending $37,500. Is there a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Discussion?
Do you think that's gonna be enough?
I hope to God it's enough.
I think it's a lot higher than last year, so
It is a
there's
lot
a
higher.
significant change, so
Yep, we have some
stuff going on.
stuff.
I'm sure it's stuff you can't elaborate on. Is there a motion to approve $37,500?
I need to put on motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of the $37,500?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next is our insurances. Board of Selectmen are recommending $263,362.24. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Is the health insurance, did you guys do the figure about with the increase that we voted on, or? So I know there's.
Right now, as of January 1st, it went up to 16% for
Employee contributions,
employees.
okay,
So that includes the 16% employee contribution,
Yes.
okay.
or it's figured out.
Yes, and then it's going to the voters, and the warrant article will be updated with a date of April 1st. Do we sign?
So that we don't have to pay that.
Yes,
Okay.
so no refund checks.
Anybody else?
The police retirement, is that for the NHRS that's based off of?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. Okay. So that's for the 3 full-time officers, one of the part-time officers paid. Do we know what their rate is for this year for NHRS? Since they were that
It
way?
just went down, didn't it just decrease?
I know, I don't remember what it
30,
is.
it went from like 36 to 33 or something like that.
It was 33.88 before, so I
Okay,
know
so it went down like
30.
30, it didn't go below 30, I know that.
So, okay.
But yes,
Just because for 2023, there was more than just the police department going around the retirement line with other employees that are not pulling from there. Yeah, you had selectmen, town clerk, secretary,
Janelle, me,
assessing,
Paul's
all pulling
son.
from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be all in bills in 2 weeks. It's gonna be like-
yeah, I mean, I didn't look at the report, but I'm like reading.
Something to take a peek at in a minute.
Oh, what, 200 pages, or what you say, 700?
Yeah. Light reading, you know, spare time.
Or in a few years, I'm gonna want my retirement check. I didn't see your name.
You should not see my name in,
I
only
said
in a
very
reimbursement check.
No.
I will only take a reimbursement check if I pay for something, then I'm gonna get paid back.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion for the $263,362.24.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
All right, next we have this Stratford Regional Planning stuff. Board of Selectmen are recommending $13,526, which is a $5,000 increase over last year. Why not the big jump? We'll entertain a motion for discussion.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? Discussion? Why the big jump?
The big jump has been explained several meetings
I
in a
know.
row. You guys need to start writing down notes. They're gonna be using the Stratford County more, right?
Stratford, yes, so I'm using
Yeah.
Stratford Regional Planning Commission.
They only do so much till they
And-
start to charge.
And
To
legal,
minimize the legal fees, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and legal, we got those because we're trying to update ordinances that we have on the books that might be something about it. So,
Now, their lot mergers and things like that should be, like, those should be coming up.
But they don't want.
say that again, Janelle, I didn't.
Lot mergers.
Their lot mergers
Yeah.
that get registered in the registry of deeds should be coming on planning board somewhere. So I don't know if they're taking that out of services registry
I
line.
don't know that we've done.
We probably don't have a lot of lot mergers.
But no, but so they
Yeah.
should come, okay, no, I'll make a note of it.
Subdivision. Subdivisions, anything that needs to be registered.
Anything that comes before the planning board.
That needs to be issued.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the $13,526, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, now we've got newspaper notices, workshops, CBA stuff. Board of Selectmen.
CDA should have their own line as well for their registry stuff.
So the Board of Selectmen is recommending $3,851. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Other than they should have their own line? They don't, do they run any workshops?
Yeah, there's plenty, but none of them have been going, because I think barely everybody on there is somewhat new and it's a little work during the day, so yes, but.
All those in favor of the 38,000?
Yeah.
3,851.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, now we're on to all the utilities stuff. So the Board of Selectmen are recommending $49,020.
I'll make a motion.
For a second? I'll second. Discussion?
Who motion, where the motion?
Sierra and Bonnie. Bonnie. So some of it, it's not big amounts. Like the municipal one was 7,196. Fire department, we overspent, but flat. They just kind of make it flat from last year. Yep. Sort of. Do you anticipate any big repairs to any of these buildings?
I hope not. I mean, we weren't anticipating a boiler at the municipal building either, but surprise.
Does anybody have any questions on these lines?
Yeah, it's not for the old town hall, that's up there, you know.
All right, all those in favor of the 49,000?
So, I know it's not a huge like, amount or anything, but so like for electric for the municipal building, I know we're on that plan or
Yeah.
whatever, to save money. If we didn't even spend 9,000, I don't see why we didn't budget for 9,600 just because we did last year.
When
I
does
would
that
be comfortable
expire?
at like 75.
Where is it?
Is the electrical going to be
Or is that just municipal?
Is it gonna, what did you say?
With mini splits,
the mini splits?
do you anticipate more electricity being used?
I don't
They're more
think
cost
so.
effective.
Yeah, I was gonna
They're a
say,
lot more cost
The
effective.
bills haven't really changed since we put them in, and we are gonna be going with the new company. I think we're saving another 6 cents, is it? Or
You'll-
6 months.
You guys will probably see a big difference in the summer when, instead of having those behemoth air conditioner units and using the mini splits, you'll see a huge difference.
When was the mini splits put in?
When, they were put in late summer, I think they
Yeah,
were put
late
in like
summer.
the second week of September actually, because of the fall. So they probably
They work
didn't use much,
fantastic
so
though.
we won't know, but they are supposed to be energy efficient, so.
So Sierra, you making a motion to drop that 96 down?
Yeah.
Can I just ask one more question? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What is how long is the rate that you guys have locked in for? Like, is it gonna change in?
I think that, yeah, we haven't signed that
paper.
paperwork yet, though.
Yeah, we haven't, so they will sign us 9.
The guy that was with us has moved to a different company, and he would save us another 6 cents, and I believe it's for 6 months.
But maybe it's.
Okay, it might be 9. I know it's an odd number, it's not
Yeah,
a
it's
year.
not a year,
Yeah.
which I thought was weird, but.
But 6
Okay.
cents is 6 cents.
So it's gonna go down a little bit, so
Mhm.
even,
Even
okay, so it
more.
will balance out more. Okay. I just didn't want to find out like 9 months from now, it's like, oh, we're going up to like 14% and,
Screw ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah. You don't like some of the what you suggested.
Open a window.
7,500. Just based off of what we made last year, and last year was high.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor of dropping the electrical for the municipal building from 96 to 75?
Aye.
So can we just confirm with that bottom, bottom number?
So that'd be $900 less.
No, that would be more than 500.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
Like 21, we get $2,100, right?
Yes, that's all
I
right.
did the math right.
Yeah.
No, I think,
Fine.
yeah, you're good.
56,030.
No, I
No,
think
you were at
46.
49 already.
Wait a minute, I'm reading the wrong-
You're going down.
Sorry.
46,920 is what I got, somebody wants to go in.
Don't have Bonnie do the books.
I wasn't that long.
So all those in favor of the new amount of $46,920?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, property liability insurance, that's going up a little bit. $58,130. A motion to accept that amount,
I'll make a motion.
for a second, any discussion?
It's contracted, so it's not really, like you can,
So all those in favor of $58,130?
I have one question on top of that, not like it's gonna change the vote, but is the town able to like shop around, or is there like special, like municipal insurance to where you're kinda cornered into?
There's a pool that municipalities go to.
Okay. I just didn't know. I know like there's certain
They tend
things.
to have the best rates better than the private sector.
Good.
They tend,
And I think that's the same like the healthcare as well.
yeah.
Same, same
Yeah, 'cause you're all in that pool, so you're sharing everybody's losses and. So good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, moving on to the police department section. So bottom line on that, Board of Selectmen are recommending $305,272.62. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? And is there any discussion?
So the percentage change, where it says like the 5%, is that the department head's percentage change? Okay, that's not, okay. So that's not accurate.
Well, that's based off of the budget, that's based off of the board, department head's recommendation.
Not the select.
Not the
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
This was another section as I quickly went through that expense report that you guys might want to take a peek at. Because Peter Ciccolini is coming out of the police chief.
He's getting paid.
But it's only a minuscule amount, I don't understand.
Jack Savage came out of it too.
Yeah. And then on the full-time line,
Yeah.
there's Randy Sobel, there's
You know what's funny is I think I
Catherine,
saw this in the past. too,
Carol
not just-
Long, I think Janelle's in there.
I'm sure, yes. No, but I'm curious.
New job for you, Janelle.
If we do like a specific line and we do a detail, if it shows the same information as the report we ran, I would think it does, so it'd be a good check, but yeah.
Just
instead of go back-
something, just something to.
No, I get it, because I think I saw this in prior year when I, yeah.
Yeah, and the overtime line is kind of messed up too. Does anybody have any questions for that section?
Why did you go so high on the dues in the budget?
The dues was moved, that's also been asked at multiple
Well,
meetings.
that's
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bonnie, I'm gonna write you a list.
So
I did say this the other day, I'm like, they ask the same questions every month.
Well, and if you notice, they're both highlighted.
They are,
And
yep.
so,
For the part-time line, like not even 2,000 was used out of that. How come you guys didn't consider kind of dropping it back?
We are hoping to get part-timers. That's our hope.
And right now we have one,
3, I believe.
3.
1 seasonal. Oh, I thought,
Yeah.
well, 2, if I count the
Okay.
seasonal one.
all right,
So
2.
it's 2 counting the seasonal one? Yeah. And he's only here usually summer.
Well, it all depends on what fits in his schedule. He might come in December, depends on when he's up here, you know.
But Janelle's gonna pick up some shifts.
I just want to tease her.
Yeah, right?
I could have fun with that.
But yes,
So
the
are
hope
we
is-
good at leaving the part-time line at where it is?
I'm not, personally, I mean, I've been hearing that we're gonna get more part-time people, but then I hear another comment saying we can't find anybody and that's why we're in the predicament we're in, like, it's just, I don't know, I would cut it in half personally. It's not being used. It hasn't been used.
And I would
I mean,
think-
even the on-call isn't being used. It's,
Well, to justify that, I guess, on that line of thinking, if we did hire part-timers, then that should drop your overtime line down. You would hope. Yes, yeah.
I'm just,
Yes, our ultimate goal is to have more part-timers within the next, say, 6 months. I mean, but the process is a slow process as to, working all of this, so, I mean, it's no different than we were in the same boat. We can only force the hand that we have so much, but hopefully in the next 6 months we have hired some additional part-time to alleviate on the overtime and start utilizing the on-call.
It'd be hard pressed to find a part-time officer who's gonna come here for $21 an hour.
But that's been bumped up, has it not?
from what I was told it was. I don't know, I have a hard time, I mean, history has been, it's just repeating itself. We hear this every year, I feel, and. All right, I would make a motion to put the part-time line down to, I'll say 8,000.
Is there a second to that motion for discussion? I'll second it for further discussion. Is there any discussion on the 8,000?
I think
That's
that's
too
too low.
low. It's too low.
I mean, only 1,800 has been used.
Any other discussion on the 8,000?
Do we have like a pay range of what a part-time would be? Depending on like, assuming it's certifications and stuff like that.
We
I was
don't
gonna
have
say, I'm
any
trying to
from
see
us.
the paper, yeah.
I think there is. We
I
just
think
don't have in
it
front
might
of us.
start at 21, what you said.
So did Randy not work at all or much? Did he only work 18?
He had surgery, he did not work this year as much as he has because he has had surgery.
So did he only work $1,800 worth of,
I don't know, we're gonna have to check that because we saw some.
because, I mean, unless he's getting pulled from the full-time,
All you have to do is pull in from full-time.
he was being pulled from.
So pulling from full-time is pulling from overtime, which it would surprise me if he is working overtime, but he's definitely pulling from the full-time line.
Yes, you can look at that 1,800 and feel that it's 100% accurate, but
Yeah.
that's.
But then in the same token, we didn't even go over on our full-time line
That's
budget.
because we didn't have a full-time officer for 6 months. We only had one full-time officer.
Yeah.
So if we had, we would have been over. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
no,
the way
because
it-
if they put it in the correct lines, it would have been
Correct,
fine.
yes. But it would have been, it would blatantly showed up if he was here for those 6 months, it would show that way we're over and we'd be like, then the questions would be like, why are we over?
Right.
This
So any further
This is what
discussion?
happens with the revolving door.
Right.
Further discussion on.
Which we wanna
amendment
avoid.
To amend it to 8,000. All those in favor of dropping the part-time line to 8,000, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Does not carry.
So how many do we have? Do I have to keep track of that?
No, just the bottom.
Does not carry?
Well, you made a motion, so yeah, that has to be.
Okay, yes.
So I think your motion was initially, you motioned it to do the 3,305, and seconded, we did discussion, the discussion was to amend it by 8,000, that motion did not carry, so then you're back to the 305,
Yes.
272.
Correct.
But do I have to know how many people
Mhm.
voted nay?
Only
Yes,
one.
because-
So only one voted yay.
No,
One
no,
yay.
yeah.
One yes.
Yeah, one yes, my bad.
It's been a long day.
That's the quote.
Okay.
Not just me. Is there any further discussion expenditures in that ammunition, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they probably did some.
But that's been brought up. Any other discussion?
Do we know how much is out of the ammunition line?
It wasn't all spent,
1,800,
but
I think.
it's, yeah, some.
It wasn't
a good portion
2,000.
of
I know it wasn't two, but I think it was
spent.
close. I think it was around 1,800.
I think something like that.
1,800 sounds right.
Yeah.
What number?
That invoice, I don't even think it's come in yet, I think, or it might have just come in, but the
I think
invoice
that's
came
what
in
Slip
after the
said
meeting.
at the hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I don't hear any more discussion, all those in favor of the $305,272.62, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
One opposed, one abstention.
I'm abstaining on every single vote, so you'll have to put me down for every single vote. Yeah. Please. Thank you.
All right, the next is the EMS section. Board of Selectmen are recommending $81,000. Is there a motion to approve that?
I'll make
Discussion on that? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the $81,000?
Aye.
Abstain. Abstain. Is that going to carry then?
Who's saying aye? Raise your hand if you're saying aye.
3 ayes.
Or I?
So you got four, you got Christine, so you got a.
4 ayes and 3 abstentions.
You have 3 ayes.
Four ayes. All right, the next section is the fire department section. The board of selectmen are recommending $78,051. Is there a motion?
I'll second.
Is there discussion?
This could have been before.
Oh.
Go for
And
it.
I think it might have been talked about when I was there, I'm not 100% sure, the member expense. Is
Yeah.
that something that the department head dropped down and you guys, the selectmen matched, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to.
Yep. Because he kept his budget.
See, look at
flat.
you, you retained
Well,
it.
I think, make sure I got it.
Any further discussion?
So the fire chief salary, I know there's that new line, but then the old, so the part-time is the eight,
So how it was explained to me is that
Actually, those are-
$87.55 is what the current fire chief is making.
okay.
Right, so those are actually switched, those need to be switched. So it should
Okay,
be
that's why I'm
87.55
confused.
and the 17.
The fire chief is proposing a fire chief position with more hours
Well,
for,
to cover the per diem.
Yeah.
to cover per diem shifts and as well as do fire chief jobs during the week.
Workshops,
Workshops,
do
meetings.
fire drills at the school.
So it would be so those two lines would be combined, if I understand it correctly, for a, I don't know, part-time fire chief position. Yes, 26,000. But it was split out because that's not the situation.
Right.
And this, but this part of the budget was stayed flat compared to last year?
Yeah.
No, well, it stayed out, I was gonna say between the two, if you,
Between the two,
EMS
it's
and
flat.
fire, it stayed flat line. Because if you add the two together, from last year this year, it's flat between.
So I guess my only concern is if we're pulling from the EMS line for money, and this potentially new part-time fire chief is on, and he's got hours to cover for like the daytime, if
His
he's,
pay will come from that, his pay will come from the fire chief's, that's part of what his.
So that would, that's why with the.
no, I
EMS
understand, so I understand
drop
that. My concern is
Okay.
this, is that if there's EMS calls and he's the only one on duty, we're
Well,
back,
We have to address that, but that's, I mean, that's.
you know.
down
But then
the-
we're pulling money from EMS.
Well, you
and then
have to-
we're
You're
still-
gonna have to pull money from EMS for the other person who'd be on call.
I get it, but if we're gonna pull money from EMS to pay a fire chief to be here
No, we're
part-time,
not. We're not gonna pull the money from EMS to pay the fire chief. The fire chief's salary
That's their own line.
includes the per diem, right? And that.
Yes.
but money was shuffled, was it not?
It was.
So if you're,
Right, because it- all right,
That's
sorry.
what she's saying, you're initially paying for,
Yeah,
you're initially taking from
Yeah.
that.
so
You
you're
are.
taking money
But that
from,
was to budget for 2 people to be on, so now your fire chief is taking the part of pay.
right.
no, I understand that, but my concern is, once again, that if one person is on duty and you don't have that second person, we're expending that money and then potentially paying another town to come in, and we're not, I mean, I know something's gonna happen, but
What's that question again? I'm sorry.
So basically, if the fire chief is on, he's the only one on, he can't respond to a call himself, and you have to have another town call. So now we're paying the fire chief,
Right,
and
well,
then we're
that's,
paying, like.
We're- so we're-
Middleton
the
or
intent is for
whoever.
that to not to happen. I mean, if it does, then we need to address the issue.
yeah, I get it, but it's still like, I know we're going into unknown territory because you gotta start somewhere, but it's like, in the back of my mind, I'm also keeping in track of the fact that now if we hire this part-time person, we're like committing to having to pay and expend that money and then potentially still,
No, right, I agree. I mean, but that's something we need to monitor to say, if you're, you know, if you're doing a per diem coverage, you gotta have somebody on shift with you, because if not, I personally am gonna say, you can't be on shift by yourself.
so my,
That's not, at least my opinion, you shouldn't be on shift by yourself, because
If
So-
you can't respond, then.
but then
that
if he's gonna be hired as, so my other question would be is okay, say if like this week he couldn't get another per diem person to come in and be on call, does he then not work? Because if that's gonna be,
There's other duties though that are lacking because we don't have somebody here during the day.
So he just won't really take call if it's just him,
I mean,
or her,
there's
whoever.
meetings that are missed.
and
No.
that all needs to be worked out.
yeah, and I get it, but it's just in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that there's money that was once upon a time allotted specifically for EMS pay, and now it's gonna go to a part-time position that,
I think the thought is we're just gonna find something that works.
no, I get it, I get it, but
We
it's,
gotta start somewhere.
in the back of my head, I'm thinking,
Is the plan just for this fire, the part-time chief, and for them to be an EMT?
Yes.
yes.
Right, so that 17, like
And
basically
then you then
17.
just have EMR on call, and then he can run.
Yes, but the idea is you need.
Yeah, you need to have
them,
those
so.
that EMR to drive.
And again, when you know, trying to find a path. that's
I
gonna
get it,
work
it's
out
just,
now.
you know, in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking like, you know, if he does 24 hours that week and he's getting that pay and there's multiple medical calls and Milton's having to show up, we're paying Milton and then we're paying, whereas before we weren't. So I just hope that heavy duty, like recruiting is happening so then we can solve the problem and not be spending money to other
Well, it
towns.
hasn't even been posted, because it hasn't been technically approved, so.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the board of selectmen's recommended figure of $78,051? Abstain.
So raise your hands for ours.
Thanks, so that's aye.
Yeah, so you got
Thanks,
4.
Three abstains. 4 and 3. She abstained.
Tracy's. There you go. That's one.
Bonnie needs a nap.
Just go ahead and on me.
I'm thinking nays,
Last meeting.
All right, next section is the code enforcement salary. Once I write it in. Code enforcement section, sorry. Board of Selectmen are recommending $11,879. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? Discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of 11,879?
I'll make a motion.
Aye. 6 and 1. All right, emergency management, $500.
I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve,
I will.
second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the $500?
Aye.
Aye.
Stratford Dispatch, this is the contractual amount, $5,500. I'll entertain a motion to approve the $5,500.
I'll make a motion, or, yeah, make a motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of 5,500?
Aye.
Next section is the highway department. We're selecting our voting to expend $359,634. I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Discussion?
And this is a reflection of a 3% raise for them.
Any discussion on this section?
Are they getting, oh, yeah, sorry, I'm just repeating myself again. I'm just having a stroke over here, don't worry about it.
I don't have a stroke.
I'm looking at,
I'm looking at a nurse right here to help you.
No.
You're out booty?
the ambulance is over
I
there.
nursed all day.
We got 2 EMTs and a
I keep
part-time
looking at
police
these
officer down
numbers
there.
and forgetting what I'm asking and.
Fine.
The only question I had, and I asked Dan, but I don't think he understood my question last week. On the highway seasonal, my understanding from going to some meetings was that he is only coming out
For
for
storms.
snowstorms,
Mhm.
unlike in the past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his overtime and pay is all in that one line. Anything having to do with his position.
But in my mind, and I could be wrong, I guess you can't really tell. You don't know how many snowstorms there are.
Yeah.
And I think he actually is getting slightly more than what they would have hired somebody who's gonna work a 40-hour week in a snowstorm. Because he's only working snowstorms, they felt they could give him a little bit more because.
All right, yeah.
Because he wasn't doing as much probably, or working as many.
So this winter right now, knock on wood.
Yeah.
You say that now, and
Is there any more discussion?
March is
on-
coming.
this might be a little late in the game, but did we, seeing that we're like almost halfway through, but I asked a while back if a recent thing was pulled through like NHMA about, I'm sorry, I keep looking at her.
That's okay.
For raises, for like what the pay is across like the state. I know we did it last year, and in some areas we were pretty comparable, in other areas we weren't. Have we like looked into that again to make sure? I always, in the back of my mind, I always worry about our road crew, not because we don't have like a lot of full-time people, but like our road crew, because they don't have any retirement like the police department, versus like they can jump ship and go to like Rochester or Farmington or anything else and they can get retirement. And so I just want to make sure like we're competitive at least,
I have not told that.
or,
No, we haven't told it, but I think as Scott had mentioned at the board of selectmen's meeting the other night, as part of, we looked across and said, that was like 3%. And then, obviously the benefits package and everything. So we're trying to encompass everything together. So part of that is, they might be only getting 3% here, but one of the warrant articles going forward is to cap that, to retain knack of trying to.
Yeah,
you
just
know,
knowing what
put
some
the
other
package together.
people, like some other road crew towns make versus with these guys, and then they get the New Hampshire, because I mean, the retirement, honestly, like with the guys that we have now, I know, it's a funny matter.
It's a good sound.
With the retirement package alone, like, with the guys that we have now, they'll be retiring in a little bit. He laughs at me all the time. You know, we don't know how much longer, like, our guys potentially will be. And recruiting another crew, I mean, it will be hard pressed to get in a younger crew because now people really look in of like, what's my retirement gonna be? And okay, if I'm gonna work and I'm gonna do all of this, it's like, okay, I can go and work in Middleton and get my retirement invested. And even if they make $1 an hour or less, it's like, well, what's more, in the end, it's like, I worry a lot about my retirement because I don't want to work until the day I die. So it's, I mean, I look at that as like a huge,
I think that's something definitely to bring to the Board of Selectmen for them to consider, even the office staff.
yeah,
Yeah, full-time office staff, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's,
Yeah, the only people in retirement is the
yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, I mean, especially, I think of that too, and I don't know if it's just because, not that they're old, but they're kind of getting at an age where they're kind of preparing to potentially retire. And it's, I mean, my friend's husband works down in Portsmouth, and I mean, he's got his years in, and he's, 55, and he's got his retirement completely taken care of. And it's like, I look at these guys and it's like, I mean, even if you, it's that balancing act, and it's like, okay, if all 3 of those guys retired within the year, we're kind of up
I mean, the town does offer, I know it's not a 401k, but it's.
the 403B.
403B, yeah.
Yeah,
Means
but I mean,
that
that's nothing compared to
Yeah,
what
matches up to
New Hampshire retirement.
3%.
Yeah, I mean, but it is something that the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, but I mean, when you
Oh,
are being
I
compared
agree.
to,
I agree. Any further discussion on this section? All those in favor of?
could we consider, I'm sorry, but could we consider giving also these guys maybe not a 3 but a 4%? Because I know in years past, I don't know if it was last year, but it was the year before, they have foregone getting a percentage raise. Like I know, it wasn't maybe last year, it was the year before when I was in the budget committee. They did not put themselves in
I
for
think they still got.
They still got
it.
it.
an increase. Did they? Because I don't remember, 2 years ago they did?
Because we've always considered the cost of living. So if you give one cost of living, you get, it has to across the board.
Okay. I don't remember them getting one, but
Yeah, we did.
Well, they didn't know if they didn't get one.
I'm sure you would.
So are you making a motion to increase?
I would like to make a
the raise?
motion to increase it to 4%, just because they're not getting the retirement.
Are you gonna go back and do that for all the employees?
Right, because
Not that we
No
have-
one's getting it, but
Well, the only
please.
other one we have to do it for is the administrative assistant,
Right.
who was just hired. You didn't want to do 3%, so I don't think you want to do 4.
I mean, I don't agree with the whole, because, I mean, she's a new employee that hasn't even been here.
But I think you have to take the newness out of it.
Mhm.
Either you're gonna give everybody retirement, or.
Right. I think at some point,
I think it's a
that
discussion.
would be up to the
should
select board. I
have.
think the select board would be wise to do that at some point, but I don't think it should be on the budget committee to make up for
Exactly.
what is not offered currently, especially when we have that 2% disclosure.
So are you making a motion to change their salaries?
I would have liked to have made the motion
You
to,
can make a motion.
okay, I want to make a motion
I just need
to,
a dollar amount.
Do that.
my mathematician over here.
So you're making a motion to increase their cost of living from 3% to 4%.
Yes.
Okay, is there a second on that motion? Hearing none, the motion fails. All right, so we're back to,
I have a question on the drug testing line. So is it Woodstocky, is that who the town uses, Woodstocky?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen the emails, but don't hold on that.
Do we know how much they charge, like, per? Well, I'm curious just because, so we have the 500 that we have budgeted. I know that this says year-to-date actual is 282.75.
That's not right.
Well, yeah, so when you look at what we had gotten, it shows that one of the employees is crediting back to that line from their payroll.
That would be true.
That's
That would be true.
That's not something we are.
Okay, but this would then actually be way higher than the 500. So we should be.
So I think the 500 is a good number, and part of that is because we had to change, so urgent, whatever it is over here in all
Clear choice.
they no longer will do drug testing. So now they have to go to, down, Rapcore, down on Winter Street, in Rochester.
Okay.
So, it's all random, and
Right.
it depends on which one. It could be just, it could be both alcohol and drugs, it could be drugs. Most of the time, I think whenever I say it's for both or whatever. So.
Okay, so even with that credit going back in, 500 we think is sufficient? Okay.
any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of 359,634, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I mean, a name.
So 411. No.
511.
511.
It should be 7, it should be 7.
All right, the next section is the street lighting, the diesel tonnage, recycling. Board of Selectmen recommending $201,501. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second? Discussion?
This is contracted, correct?
I mean, not like school diesel or school gasoline.
Yeah.
That's just,
That's a very.
we went with what the
garbages, yeah.
school proposed. Oh, no, actually, we went left. I don't think we had the numbers then, didn't we? The numbers came in late.
Any discussion on these lines? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the $201,501?
Aye.
6-1. Animal control section, Board of Selectmen are recommending $505. Entertain a motion to approve. Aye. Any discussion on these lines? Looks like the one is for the Chico Valley Rural Use. We're dropping it from 13 down to 500. The other, which is the dollar placeholders. Any discussion?
Is the dues, how does that work? Is that like a contracted?
It's not
Or
really a
is it-
dues. They,
They're asking.
we did not pay last year at all, but they found out that we had 13 budgeted, and this year we received a letter. So the board decided to go with $500.
So it's just like a donation?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
the other lines.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
It was right to the penny.
All those in favor of $505? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the next is the donation lines. Board of Selectmen are recommending $7,001. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Any discussion?
How much have we given the recreation?
That's moved because it used to be
We're
under.
Oh.
asking for donation this year
Yeah.
instead.
Um,
How much to spend? Just under think I had $528 left or something like that.
Okay.
So if we get another culture down the road, sure that's empty void, definitely out of that line.
Okay.
So I have a question, I know. Because Middleton Rec is its own entity.
Yeah.
Nonprofit. So the town, right, the town's gonna write you a check for $2,000. So you're gonna have to do your own bookkeeping and stuff.
We do, but
Obviously,
obviously, we do
right.
all that stuff.
So before, you would just get reimbursed what you spent. Now you're gonna get $3,000. If you don't spend it,
Then we keep it in our account for next year.
and hopefully whoever's in charge of the rec would be mindful of that and say, I only spent $2,000 this year, so I'm only gonna ask for, I'm not gonna ask for another $3,000.
But also
We're
versus in the,
building up to do a big thing, hopefully for the 250th anniversary of Middleton. So this is
No,
the
I-
reason why we'd like to do it this way so that we can build that money up in there.
I also look at it as, at least it's not the person going and spending the money just to buy a bunch of junk, just to say that they can use it because there's $3,000 put aside, you know, it's, hopefully we'll see like more quality.
Any other discussion on these donation lines? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All those in favor of the $7,001? Aye.
I'm going to say,
2 abstentions, 5 nays.
Archie's in the better tree.
And I've lost my-
Oh, wait a minute, I'm going backwards.
Oh, I get flipped and I'm like, wait, where am I?
All
It's
right,
welfare.
next is welfare.
Yeah, see, I get, woohoo, we got it.
Board of Selectmen recommending $10,105, which is a little bit less than in the budget from last year. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, or I'll second, whatever.
One of us, it's fine.
Pick one.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor of $10,105?
Aye.
Aye.
6 to 1. Beach maintenance, patriotic and other culture, Board of Selectmen recommending $1,701. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All those, discussion?
Beach maintenance, that's just the porta
The
potties.
porta potty went up.
Yeah, $250.
Yeah.
Or it was
It's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be 12. I
Are
mean,
those really used? I don't mean
They
to
are
sound like,
used, they
Oh,
are.
yeah, the town's beach.
Yes.
It's like if you
I do
don't
think a
have-
lot of people stop on the way home from work.
Oh, okay.
It's like, unless they went up in Newderm too, Newderm only uses 175, 150, 100.
For a porta potty?
For a porta potty.
Who do you have?
I don't wear them anymore, so I don't remember. I think it's Lafayette. It's who we use.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same.
I'll reach out and find out, but, and they also, I mean, they have several, so I don't know.
That's
That's
why
why.
they get a deal, because we get one at our beach, and I think that one just went to,
well, and do you guys have yours out the same amount of time? Because you guys, the town ones would be around, isn't it?
From,
No. Yeah, they pick it up in the fall.
October, or.
we have it from like the beginning of June till
Yeah,
the
I think
end of
the beach one,
September.
I think, is like 6 months.
Yeah.
So it could be different some time, but yeah, we get to do it.
I wonder if like cutting that amount of time, I don't know. It's a lot of money for,
Yeah, we'd have to ask Dan, like, to
Well,
take
it's also-
inventory. That's not a pretty job.
Any further discussion on this section? All those in favor of 1701?
Aye.
All right, next we have conservation. Board of Selectmen are recommending $2,756. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of $2,756?
Aye.
Tan, is that a?
No, you're just gonna go to, I mean, I don't think Tan knows just to go.
Yeah, she wanted.
You wanna jump down to the last page where your employer, social security, employer.
All right, the last page. Board of Selectmen are recommending $41,842.
Huh?
Motion to approve that amount.
You're in the back now.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the $41,842?
Aye.
Bottom line, I have no idea.
I think you just, I'm gonna, because you guys adjusted it by 3,100, so I think I'm just gonna go off that. Because that should be just what the difference is from. Now I'm just gonna make sure that the difference is not
Nothing's good. All good. There are much worse sounds you could make.
What else? I mean, no way for say. Does it help get ready?
I know.
Oh, exclude CRS, yes, so. You just take that. So it should be 1,851,799.66.
And then again, $1,851,799.66. I'm surprised I don't think just round it up.
You could, because I'm pretty sure when we were entering it, it would make sense.
So we can vote on that bottom line, or
Yeah, you can vote on the bottom line if that's what you prefer.
we did each
If
section?
you did each section, that's fine too, so.
All right, moving on, warrant articles.
So on this one, just as a heads up, you only need to, the article be read, it's just a matter of whether you recommend it or not, you can't alter the warrant. It is what it is. But what are your
Article A, see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $200,000 for the purpose of road construction and paving of various town roads. This is a non-lapsing appropriation pursuant to RSA 32:7, 6, and will not lapse until the road construction paving is complete or December 31st, 2028, whichever is sooner. Tax impact of 55 cents on 1,000. The Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0. What is the Budget Committee's pleasure? All those in favor of recommending Article A, signify by saying, unless you want to discuss it. Do you want to discuss it? All right, all those in favor of Article A as written? Aye.
Aye.
Now, Tracy,
Are you abstaining or are you?
I'll abstain, sure. I already voted.
Article B, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the Highway Department Vehicle Capital Reserve Fund as previously established. Majority vote is required, tax impact is 3 cents. Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0. All those in favor of recommending Article B, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions?
Yep.
Article C, see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the reval capital reserve previously established. Majority vote is required, tax impact is 3 cents. Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0. Budget Committee, do I hear a recommendation to approve? Everybody will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Article, and if you guys want to discuss anything, just stop. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to be added to the SCBA Capital Reserve Fund previously established. Tax impact is 1 cent. Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0. This Budget Committee recommend this article, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed?
No.
Article E, see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,000 to be added to the natural or man-made disasters capital reserve fund previously established. Majority vote required. Tax impact is 0.003 cents. Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0. Budget committee recommend this, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Article F, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be added to the fire department replacement vehicle capital reserve fund previously established. Majority vote required, 7 cents. Tax impact, Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Article G, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the public safety complex capital reserve fund previously established. Tax impact is 3 cents. Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0.
That's
Is
incorrect.
that correct? Or second? Nope. I'll fix that. It's 4-1.
It's 4.
4 and 1 against, correct?
Yeah.
We are on G. All those in favor of Article G, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any abstains?
Me.
Article H, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 to be added to the medical equipment capital reserve fund previously established. Tax impact is 3 cents. Board of Selectmen recommends this 5-0. All those in favor of Article H is written.
Aye.
Aye. Article I, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 for the purpose of construction, drainage, paving of the old town hall parking lot. Oh, we don't have to, do we have to approve this one?
Yeah.
Even though no money comes from taxation? Yeah, we still do it, don't we?
Because it's money, it's monetary, so you're going to recommend it.
Who said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance, no amount to be raised by taxation. This is a non-lapsing appropriation pursuant to RSA 32:7 and will not lapse until the project is completed or December 31st, 2029, if ever sooner. Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0. Budget committee, we approve Article I.
Aye.
Article J, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $7,500 for the purpose of purchasing a new electronic voting machine with said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance, no amount to be raised for taxation. Majority vote required. Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0. Budget committee? I have a question. If this fails,
You have to
Then we
find
gotta
it
find
in
it.
your budget.
yeah, okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Article K, see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 for the purpose of repairing crushed stone, sand, and gravel in the town pit, with such materials to be used by the town for highway projects and maintenance. Said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance, no amount to be raised for taxation. Board of Selectmen recommends 5-0. Budget committee recommends this article. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is this something that we usually do?
It was done like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was like a few
So
years
it's-
ago.
That's what the idea is, that it's been this way every so many years, and material for that company coming in, crushing.
Article L, to see if the town will vote to add and merge the following town.
Oh, you don't have to vote on this
one.
We go to M.
Do that.
I did think.
That was me. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $13,833.52 to be added to the highway department capital reserve fund previously established. Such sum represents the amount of income received in 2023 cell phone tower, and said funds to come from the unassigned fund balance, no amount to be raised from taxation. Board of Selectmen recommend this 5-0. Does the budget committee recommend this? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Article N, shall we,
Oh, no, that one's not, that's not for you. That one's gonna be, no,
It's
that's
not
public
for you.
hearing, it's not monetary. You don't have any more.
Yay.
Article O, see if the town will vote to cap.
You don't have to vote on that one, because
It does affect our
It doesn't
budget.
have- You can vote on it, we can include it in that over to,
Yeah, we should.
go ahead, yeah, that's fine.
All right, Article O, to see if the town will vote to cap the employee contribution to health care costs at 13% effective April 1st, 2024. Board of Selectmen recommends this 4-1. Was the one a no or an abstention?
It was a no.
So, just out of curiosity, so we're capping it for 1 year or indefinitely?
No, because it already went up to 16% that they're paying right now.
Right, so this
But
was the 13%.
they want to stop it at 13, so it'll be effective April.
But indefinitely?
That's what the warrant article says.
This was sent to legal, and that's, and the intent was sent over saying, this is what the previous article said, this is what we want to do, so this would be, this, it overrules the previous one article. So it would.
Which was 25, right?
Huh?
Up to 25.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Over 5 years, that's 25%.
So if this doesn't pass, it goes back to that.
It was,
If this doesn't pass, then it stays at 16%,
16.
yes, and then it'll go up to 19, and then.
At town meeting, it was, I made a motion to change it to 20%.
So then it's 20. It was
It's-
initially 20.
It was initially 25.
25, then it was
Yeah.
20. I know it stopped, I thought it was 30, and then it was 25, but it's 25 to 20. Okay, so.
Should be. Hopefully the meeting minutes were taken correctly.
Any further discussion on Article O? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of Article O as written? Aye.
We have the hand show.
Any nays?
Nay.
Any abstentions? All right, so Bonnie and Chris, 4-2-1.
No, we got a 3-2.
All right, everybody saying yes.
I'll go yes.
So you
All
got
right, 4 yes,
4 yes.
2 noes, 1 abstention. And Article P.
No, well, I
What
mean,
to do?
this is, that's another one I'm waiting, this one I'm waiting back to hear from legal, because this is one that conservation has pushed in, and they want to try and get it. It will be at a public hearing, but it's not a monetary one.
Wording.
All right, so that is it for, does anybody have anything they want to discuss any more on the budget for 24? All right, moving on. Next thing we have in the packet is our year-to-date expenditures on the municipal side. Let's go pick it up, peek at that. Of course, it's kind of hard because we don't have the budget figures in there, but we can at least see what's been expended so far in the month of January.
So my only concern is how accurate this is going to be, because clearly there was not any accuracy with the salaries. So for like the part-time expenditure line, is it,
Yeah, so like the first paycheck, I think, the first pay date was probably like January 4th. That needs to be moved back to 23. But other than that,
So the workers' comp payment, I thought that was paid at the end of the year, not in January. For some reason, I thought it was at the end of the year. So I'm wondering if that is, I don't know. And the same with property liability. I thought those bills all came in at the end of the year, not the beginning of the year, but I could be way wrong. And so those two big amounts have to be plus. Anybody have any questions on January's expenditures? I did not receive a revenue report for January.
That's one of those.
I
I'm
know.
just saying, I just want
It's
to
not on.
clarify that.
All right, the next thing on the agenda is to discuss town meeting. Is everybody planning on being there on the 16th?
Beetle officer,
Just you, see.
She's a supervisor, we have to sit at the table.
And that was one of the.
That's baloney. You don't all have to sit at the table.
No, because when Kathleen stepped down, I said. I
You
would
didn't-
take
you didn't
over
say
as
that.
chair, but I was not talking at town meeting. But I just want to make sure that we're.
She's not here. You want to do an official vote?
So,
Janelle, you plan on being there, and you guys all know.
I don't know. It's not that it's not fun, I'm just not sure.
Question,
Yes,
what time,
what time what?
town meeting?
I think it's 9. We were, yeah,
Is that, okay.
So Andrea, if you look,
Yes.
the amount that we've expended for the workers' comp is what we are budgeting for this year, so they actually build it at the beginning of the year.
Oh. I don't know, just for some reason I thought it was done at the end of the year, but like I said, I definitely not on that. Our next meeting is scheduled for March 18th,
March, not March.
not March 18th. Hopefully you guys will have 2 new people. So if you're out of press, the representative stays somehow. That's up to the that's up to
yeah, that will be reorganization of the board.
Right. Well, that might change once we come
Well,
to
she's
the
up,
April meeting.
so, and if she gets elected again, then.
Yep, I'm
And
running
that'll be up to the
against a
boards,
few,
like
so.
the school board, they may say, we want.
Are you running?
You're running
Yeah.
against a few?
Yeah, no, I'm just joking.
Oh, I was gonna
There's no one
say.
else that
I would
are you
imagine
running?
the March
Yeah.
8th, because March 18th.
Ken made valid points,
Next
so I
week,
decided
so I
to
would
run with
imagine those, Tracy would still come, and so I don't think they'll reorganize the board.
I listened, Scott did not.
Then it's up to the village district, who they send. Yeah. All right, any other business, any public comments?
So if we write your name in, are you gonna not take the position? I mean, I had thought about Patty too.
You can take that with an eye or.
There's open positions on the budget committee.
Yes,
Or.
there's gonna be 2 seats empty up here, so nobody's running. I'm running for selectman.
Scott.
Scott, okay.
So he's running in, Bonnie and Scott running, and then we had nobody file for, like, we had 2 slots.
Anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
Nope.
Hearing none, I'll call for motion to adjourn.
I'll make
I'll make
a
a
motion.
I'll second.
8:15.
Okay.
Last motion, everyone.